JoJo has fun.
How can you possibly be depressed when that's so fun?
Well, it's hard for me to be depressed.
When your computer's just like, pew, 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 biz, 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 pew.
I really do think it's the weather. Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, it's... Did I tell you about when I first moved to California and I was like at work and I had this kind of dumb coworker and I was telling her about somebody who had depression and I was like, well, it's seasonal depression. She has SAD. And my coworker was like, yeah, I think I have a case of the SADs too. Wow,
that's the rudest thing I've ever heard.
And I was just like, no, it's not like you're sad. God damn it.
Yeah. So here's how I think I had it for a long time, but I've always been able to like blame it on other things.
Yeah. Like the computer not working?
Well, no, just like life things. Like I noticed that I normally undertake big sort of expensive projects in the winter months.
Like last year at this time when we started this thing?
Yes. And this year when I built a computer. And the year before that when I built a DDR pad.
Oh, yeah.
I built a DDR pad. And it fucking worked. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Well, I have to it wasn't presentation quality. It was proof of concept. I would have to build another one.
Okay.
But
that'll be next year's project.
That'll be next year's thing. But I normally undertake big crazy projects.
Yeah.
And this year was like no different. I made a big crazy project, whatever. But I was also just like generally sad in a way that I'm not used to being.
Oh, you're growing.
And I realized yesterday, like, I think there's something really wrong because I was, so I didn't go to work today because I had to stay out late because Holly's family's restaurant closed.
What?
Yesterday. Yeah.
Like forever?
Yeah. Not because it was out of business or anything. They were just like, we're done. And they decided
we don't want to be
down.
a restaurant anymore?
Yeah. And so they closed it down. And so we were out till like 1 a.m. to, his memories and all that stuff. And then, I found out that Cardefno is trying to learn Scary Face. Hang on.
Do we want him to learn?
What does that do? Reduce speed.
I don't really know if he
accuracy.
needs to know Scary Face.
Oh, it's so funny. I don't even know Scary Face.
We don't get to learn. We don't get to see it, though.
Yeah, that's the problem. If I could see it and go, blah, then that would be something. But anyway, so we're out late, and then I found out that, like, the 2 of the videos we uploaded yesterday had fucking problems with them. That I still don't know what the problems are or why they're happening, but
right.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I remember like it was like 3 a.m, and I was laying down, and I was watching TV, and I was like cold because it was like the middle of the night, and I was cold, and there was a blanket right next to me, and I could not summon the energy to pull a blanket over me.
Oh, that's interesting.
I was just sitting there and the blanket was right there and I'm like, I'm really cold and I'm not happy because of the cold, and I'm like, but I can't even reach to grab that blanket. And I was like that for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So then I was like, this doesn't seem normal. And also for the whole day I had been like, really depressed about like, I haven't done enough, or I'm not making enough progress. All the kind of thoughts.
What kind of
that
progress?
You have. Exactly. See, it's like, oh man, like it was very easy for me to think about people who are successful in the things that I would like to be successful in, and then like spiral outward from there. Like, fuck, like there's channels that are bigger than ours and more successful than ours, and there's comedians who are doing more than I am. And all that kind of shit. Yeah,
when in reality, you could just as easily go on Facebook and find a bunch of hack comedians that are shitty, or go on Twitter and YouTube and find thousands and thousands of channels that are so much worse than ours.
But that's the thing, Kim. I punch up.
Well, no, I know, but that's the thing about depression is that like it should be just as easy for you
to say like
oh Jesus, well at least I'm not that guy. But when you're depressed, you can't do that.
Exactly, and that was the thing. I thought about that too. I was like, I'm actually doing just fine, and on like 2 days earlier, I was feeling great. And I found I messaged the artist and I gave him the reference pictures to make the shirts. And I had this idea like, oh man, how cool would it be if we did a commercial with a song? And I found a guy who makes music who's really fucking good and he's cheap. And I'm going to message him about making like a jingle for us.
Yeah.
The buy our shirts jingle, which is why I was like, what episodes do we say buy our shirts? Because I want that to happen because it seems dope.
Buy our shirts.
And I was so excited and happy. And then like the next day I felt like all the unwanted thoughts at once. And I was like, what? And then yesterday I'm laying in bed and I can't pull the blanket. And I'm like, why the fuck is this happening? And it's like, oh.
You have a case of the SADS?
Yeah, I was like, I think I have depression. And oh, wait, pizza. Go get that, Jeff. Thank you, sir.
Give him whatever's a reasonable amount.
0. Give him 0. And like it. So I get the, I looked at all the symptoms for depression and I was like, wow, I have all of these.
Isn't that awful?
But then I was like, but I didn't have them yesterday. And it's like, oh, the sun was out. So I think I have seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah.
Or depression. And it's really fucking annoying.
Yeah. Depression is not very convenient.
No.
I actually have been pretty good recently.
Yeah.
My hormones are working in my favor.
That's
Although
good.
I had a really hard day at work. One of my favorite patients died.
Oh no.
And I went in the bathroom and cried.
Sucks,
but that's like
man.
reasonable. That's not depression.
Well,
that's something really
that's like,
shitty happened.
Well, I mean, I think with depression, it's like,
yeah.
Isn't it supposed to be like at some level it's unreasonable for you to feel this way?
Yeah, exactly.
And debilitating.
Yes, and it was not debilitating.
Yeah.
I just had to go cry.
Yeah.
Because she died and I loved her.
Yeah.
And she was really sweet.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
That's okay. I don't even know what happened.
How old was she?
She was in her 80s.
That's what happened. Jesus Christ, man!
I got a lot of food.
You got a fucking banquet meal.
Well, I'm in the family way.
So
and
you got
when
a family meal?
When somebody says that they're depressed, I go full mom.
Oh, okay.
And I just get a lot of food.
Oh, that's smart. Okay, well. Who died?
Oh, God.
You're like the old lady who died. Sorry, friend.
Well, actually, her son told us, the way that he told me was we lost Marcy.
Yeah. Oh.
We lost her.
Was your thought, well, where is she?
But yeah, I was like, how? Like, because she was the caregiver for her husband.
Oh.
And her husband was
dark.
very, very sick.
Yeah.
And has been sick for years. And he's like, yeah, we lost Marcy since we last saw you. And I was like, well, what the fuck? Like, what? Who? Why?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, and like, it's one of those things that, like, the best way that I've ever heard death described, and I've said this like 10 times on the show, is that you just never see that person again.
Oh,
it's not, you don't feel a death. Really, it's just like that person goes away.
Yeah.
And you just never see them again. Yeah. And that's like, I feel like she'll be at his next appointment. Like, I'll just wait and she'll be
come
there.
Walking in.
Yeah, like I really can't believe that she's like gone.
Yep.
And she was so positive, and she was the one, I think I've talked about her. He was a state trooper and he pulled her over for speeding.
Yeah.
And
you never talked about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was in the 60s and she had her kids in the car, and he asked her kids to ask her out, if he could ask her out on a date.
Yeah.
And it was like really.
That's actually kind of cute.
It was one of those things where if
Somewhat
it happened now,
abuse of power.
if it happened now, it would be like a threatening abuse of power. But the way that they told the story was so sweet, and she was like, because like in her head, like she was like having the worst day ever.
Yeah.
And then she gets pulled over, and
so
she's
it's only
speeding.
getting worse.
Yeah. And then this really like handsome cop who sees that she has children.
Yeah.
You know, she's like damaged, and he and he like that like doesn't faze him at all.
Not even for a second.
No, and then they like got married, and they were like so in love all the time.
That's
and they always did everything together. And I was just like, oh, I'm never gonna find a cat that loves me that much. Cats are good for depression, though. because they really don't care.
That's true, and that's what you want.
You really just need somebody to put it in perspective for you.
You just really need someone to just not give a shit.
Yeah, and you think that that's not what you need, but like to have somebody just be like, you know what? I know that you're going through a real hard time right now, but not everybody is. And it makes me feel like, okay, well, maybe I'm not, like, maybe things are bigger than myself and it's okay. Like, I don't have to be depressed.
True. That's definitely true.
Because, and like, obviously it doesn't shake me out of it or something.
Oh,
but
Syphilis can learn it also? Syphilis is the best. I'm going to hold the CD up to his forehead.
Can we do that with Cha-Cha? Cha-Cha? CD to your face?
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to heal up in here. And then on the next episode, we're going to keep talking about depression and sad life shit.
Yeah.
In the rock tunnel.
In the rock tunnel.
Fucking Joy, heal my Pokemon.
Well, you have to hit the right button, dick.
Apparently I do. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Buy our shirts.